Good evening. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the light that turned on. We're just on. For those of you in the audience who have not attended one of these hearings recently, let me review our normal procedure. Staff will introduce each item for consideration. If you'd like to speak, please fill out the speaker form located on the table in the lobby and indicate the item number and whether you are for or against the item, and please give the form to the clerk seated on my left. The applicant and supporters will be heard first. Those in opposition to the request will be heard next. Then the applicant may be given a chance for rebuttal. Comments should be restricted to pertinent information regarding the agenda item under discussion. If you're an individual, you will have 3 minutes for comments. If you're speaking on behalf of a group, you will have 6 minutes for comments. Speakers should move closer to the podium when their item is being presented by staff. Speakers should identify themselves clearly for the record by stating their name and address. Each speaker should be given respectful and courteous attention. The board may ask questions of speakers or staff members. Information such as pictures, site plans, letters, etc., presented at a public hearing will be kept as part of the public record. If you have something on your cell phone you'd like to show us, we'd love to see it, but you have to promise to send a copy of it to the clerk after the hearing, otherwise we have to keep your cell phone. And you probably don't want to give that to them. But if you do, feel free. I will then ask for a motion from the board. Once the motion has been made and seconded, discussion will be closed to the floor. Following board discussion, a vote will be taken. During voting, board members who do not cast objecting votes are considered to have voted in support of the motion. Any person aggrieved by any decision of the Board of Adjustment may, within 15 days, file an appeal to the Board of County Commissioners through the Planning and Development Division of the Development Services Department. Okay, we're ready for our first item.
Good evening. For the record, Angie Califer with Planning and Development. Sorry, Angie Gates. I just recently got married, sorry. Item number 1 is a request for a side yard west setback variance from 10 feet to 7 feet for a pool enclosure in the R1AA Single Family Dwelling District located in the Apple Valley subdivision at 105 Bayberry Road. The previous pool screen enclosure was built without a building permit prior to the applicant purchasing the home in 2011. Due to hurricane damage in 2022, the applicant would like to reconstruct the enclosure in the same footprint. One letter of support was received by the adjacent neighbor located at 103 Bayberry Road, and there have not been any prior variances for the subject property. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, any questions for staff? Yes, sir.
Is this property currently subject to a code enforcement action?
Not that no. I would have put that in the staff report.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, is the applicant present? Is there anything you would like to add to staff comments? You don't have to. If you want to, I need you to come forward.
Yeah, sure.
Come on down. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Paul Holmes, and I live at 105 Bayberry Road in Altamonte Springs, Florida. Just like to add that my wife and I purchased the house in 2011. The pool enclosure was in place. The hurricane was, I've lived here my whole life and never really had a scratch or anything in the past, but this hurricane, both of our neighbors' trees fell on our house, causing over $100,000 worth of damage to our house. Both of our cars got damaged severely. My wife's car just got totaled out, and I just got my truck back. All the repairs have been done except for the pool enclosure and the patio, and we're having Casey fence or screen do that out of Oviedo. But when they filed for the permit, obviously we ran into some opportunities, and all we're trying to do is put it back exactly where it was at. My neighbor Victor, on the side of me where the pool enclosure is closest to, he wrote a letter in support of it. He couldn't be here tonight. He had knee surgery this morning. And recovering at home. So thank you all for taking your time. That's all that I have.
Okay, I feel your pain. Every hurricane, I don't lose so much as a limb, but every one of my neighbor's trees fall in my yard. Every time. Okay, is there anyone else to speak in support of the request? Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the request? We have a motion.
Mr. Chair?
Sir.
I think 12 years of nobody complaining about this and the county never noticing it. County attorney might get grumpy at me if I talk about waiver or estoppel, but I don't see any problems with this, and I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. We have a second? Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion carries, it's approved. Good luck. All right, next item.
Item number 2 is a request for a side street north setback variance from 25 feet to 15 feet for a fence in the R1 AAA Single Family Dwelling District located in the Wilson Place subdivision at 401 Kentwood Avenue. The subject property is a corner lot and considered to have 2 front yards for setback purposes. The front of the house faces Kentwood Avenue, and the Wayside Drive side is where the variance is being sought. Traffic engineering has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility, and the proposed privacy fence is 15 feet from the sidewalk and 28 feet from the edge of pavement. There have not been any prior variances for the subject property, and this concludes my presentation.
Any questions for staff? Okay, is the applicant present? Is there anything you would like to add to staff's comments? Yes, come on down, sir. Please state your name and address.
My name is Lee Randall Andrus Jr., 401 Kentwood Avenue, Sanford, Florida, 32771. My wife and I purchased this house a little over a year ago, and it's been in her family for many years. We've done some renovations and everything, and I'd like to just put a fence on the north side of my house. My kids, their bedroom windows are on that side of the house. I like more of a security and a privacy situation. My son likes to hit, he just started playing Little League Baseball. I'd like to put a net out there from the hit in. I'd like to put slip and slide out there for the kids, and I'd like to also, start a garden out there with my daughter. I know that I was told that it needs to be 25 feet from the sidewalk, and even my well, which is undergrade, is under the ground, is sitting at 20 feet from the sidewalk. So if they put a fence in there, that's where I depend upon my water. I don't have county water there, unfortunately, and that water. But anyway, yeah, I'm afraid of them taking augers in there and digging around where my sleeve is, my casing, and mess it up. And this is not only 28 feet from the road, it's actually 85 feet also from Kentwood, where my front yard is. So basically, it's not even coming to the front of my house. It's set back 28 feet from Wayside, from the north, and then from Kentwood, it's actually 85 feet set back as well. I know I submitted some pictures, other pictures with, there's a Presbyterian church down the street that has an 8-foot masonry wall that's right up on the sidewalk, just right down the road half a mile, and then probably about 4/10 of a mile to the east. There's a townhouse complex, and they have a wall where their entrance is right on the sidewalk. I'm not looking for that. I want something safe. I want something away from the sidewalk, and that's all I'm looking for. Is just I just need to have that if all possible. That's pretty much it.
Okay, any questions for the applicant? Yes, sir.
Mr. Andrus, have you chatted with your next door neighbors just to get their thoughts on?
Actually, it's been a great icebreaker because we just moved in there not too long ago. We had to get it renovated and everything, and it's been actually a great icebreaker when I put the signs up. And I've been talking with them, especially around the hurricane time. I helped one of my neighbors out when his power was out on his street and mine wasn't. I was helping him out with getting well water. I hooked my hose up there, and so I knew him, but it actually has, I have my kids outside. We're always doing things outside, so it's been actually a great icebreaker for my neighbors and everything. It's a nice community. Everybody loves living around there. It's kind of, they're older houses, but and a lot of the people there have lived there for quite some time. But I've talked to several of my neighbors about that.
And they're okay with it?
Oh yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. I haven't had. I mean, I've talked to a lot of them around there, and everybody was all supportive of it. And I put the signs that are hot pink out there, and everybody wants to know. And I even had people that are at my son's Little League that live down the road. What are you variancing? What are you variancing? So, I mean, I'm not looking to put a chicken and hog farm or anything, So I just wanted to just just a 15-foot setback, and it's a ways from the intersection. It's 85 feet that I measured myself with a tape measure. I didn't use a wheel that has to be calibrated. I took a tape measure and stuck a screwdriver in the soil right by the street and measured it all. And I want it safe, but it's offset quite a ways off of the intersection. I wouldn't want anything that would be dangerous to everything, but I just want, security for my family and privacy, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone to speak in support of the request? Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the request? Do we have a motion?
Chair, motion to approve. Second.
We approve, a second, any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Good luck. It's approved. All right, next item?
Good evening, Hillary Paving, Planning and Development. Item number 3 is a variance request for 2464 Falmouth Road, located in the English Estates subdivision. The request is for a rear yard setback reduction from 30 feet to 22 feet for a screen room addition in the R1AA zoning district. The request is to construct a 16-foot by 12-foot screen room addition onto the rear of the existing single-family home, encroaching 8 feet into the 30-foot rear yard setback. 2 letters of support have been received from both side neighbors. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions for staff?
Yes.
Yes, go
Questions for staff. I see that there are 2 sheds, existing sheds in the backyard that are within the 30-foot envelope, and I also see that there are no prior variances for the subject property. So what's the background on those 2 existing sheds?
If the shed is less than 200 square feet, it has a 10-foot rear yard setback.
And that meets that 10-yard, it meets the 10-foot setback?
It's not part of what the variance is for today, so I didn't check. But
Okay.
The sheds appear to be, from the measurements, are 200 square feet or less, so they only have to have a 10-foot setback, and according to our diagram, it's 11 on one side and more than that on the other.
I think
Yeah.
did you say you were removing it? You were removing the shed?
No,
No? Okay.
I
might be
both of
thinking of a
those
different
sheds
one.
installed with a permit, probably a year apart, and with a 10-foot setback at that point.
Yeah, the sheds are,
What I'm here
They're
for
permanent.
today is...
they're not an issue.
I'm thinking he's testifying.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the sheds aren't the issue today, though.
We're just causing trouble.
Yep. Any other questions for staff? Sir, do you have anything you would like to add to staff's presentation? You don't have to, but if you do, I need you to come forward and state your name and address at the mic.
My name is Bob Richardson. I live at 2464 Falmouth Road. It's a Maitland address. Unfortunately, years ago, they didn't have a postal service. I guess we can link to that. So we maintain that. Both the buildings are fine. I have no problem with the buildings. What kind of shocked me a little bit was I have had a patio on that for 38 years, but I didn't put a cover on it. I was much younger 38 years ago. And I wanted to go put a cover over it, not even an enclosed thing, just a cover to get out of the sun. There's no trees back in that area. And when I did, I was a little shocked that it went to 30 feet. And I went out and measured it, and I said, that leaves me a foot to the house. Can I put a little one in? Now, I'm more interested in just getting out of the sun. That's all I'm concerned with. The sun really kills me now. And I appreciate your consideration.
Okay, and your neighbors are okay with it?
I had 2 neighbors I submitted requests for. There was an elderly lady behind me that I went there, and she was in a position where she wanted to think something out that day for a phone call that was important to her to make and do right. So I left the house. But she came back, I think it was a Saturday after I had missed the 6th with her piece of paper. I thought I had it with me. I was going to give it to you anyway. But she came by and she asked me why I was there, and I told her. And she said, oh, I'll sign that, because she's got a patio. She's got a cover. She's got it enclosed. She's got a pool. So nobody in that area, I think, would have an objection. Other than I think they're going to be as surprised as I was when they find out they have a 30-foot back now.
Any questions for the applicant? Yes, sir.
Mr. Richardson, two questions, and I think my first one, you might have already answered here, but what you're proposing to build is going to be only just over your existing...
Only over the
property?
patio that's existing.
Got it. And is what you're building, is it going to be shorter, same, or taller than your sheds?
Well, maybe a little taller than the shed, because it's gonna have to be located towards the bottom of the roof line.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know how tall those are.
But it's only coming out 12 feet,
12 feet.
and it's gonna be 16 long, I hope.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant? Okay, is there anyone to speak in support of the request? Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the request? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. It's approved. Good luck to you. Okay, next item is minutes.
Beat the summer.
That was a nice, equitable distribution of the motions.
Do we have any additions, changes, deletions to the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. All right, last item for today, the fence. The fence workshop will be next month, also with an ethics presentation from our county attorney, because we originally thought we were going to have 3 people here tonight. So, last thing is elections. So I turn it over to the clerk. I know you've been waiting all night for this.
No. Jalen Moreno, I open the floor for nomination for chair.
All right, she's looking for nominations for chair.
I'd like to nominate our current chair for another year, whether he wants to or not.
All right, well, thank you, sir.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I close the floor for nominations. Motion to approve, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
And I got it from here. All right. Good job. Okay, we need to, I'm opening the floor to nominations for vice chair. You willing to do it again, Mr. Hadaway?
Sure. Thank you.
I make a motion to elect Mr. Hadaway as the vice chair.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. All right, any other nominations? All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It carries. Congratulations for another year, sir.
We just wanted you to wait patiently and wonder. Nobody knows.
Anything else for the good of the order? Y'all have a great night. See you next month. Maybe. And there's going to be some substantial...